How do you see AI changing the role of finance leaders or small business owners in the next year or two?
Christopher, it's a great question. I think the most interesting part of that question is that I don't see AI as something in the future. AI is here today, and it's already helping small business owners. Small business owners are constantly being asked to do more with less, and really that hasn't changed. And I don't suspect it's ever going to change. And so the way that we think about AI is how can AI be useful for these small business owners? How can it give them back time? All of these different systems, including FreshBooks, they track so much data. And how does that data turn from something they have to go search for in a report into some foresight so that they can make better decisions? Our small business owners are always on the go. We deal in a very kind of micro small business market. And so our small business owners are often the CFO, the head of HR, the head of marketing. And they really need this extra set of hands, extra set of eyes on the business. And that's where really we see AI stepping in to help be a co-pilot for them as they are on this journey within their business.
That makes sense. Do you have any specific examples of how you are embedding AI or automation to simplify their lives?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we talk to small business owners all the time, and one of the things that small business owners constantly tell us is they dread being the accounts receivable department. They love servicing their customers. They love getting their products and their services out there to the market. But when it comes time to get paid and chase their customers, that's one of the things they look least forward to. And so we are able to utilize AI to be that co-pilot, that extra set of hands or that extra voice to go out and automate the collections process for them. And that's probably one of the most well-received aspects of AI within our solutions. And it's helped owners get paid over 2 times faster through online payments. And small business owners, cash is king and very critical for them to continue to operate. And I know you asked for one, but there's another one that small business owners really struggle with, and I think we're very proud of, and that is just staying organized on expenses. And so small business owners often are not the the most administratively forward with respect to managing expenses. And so when you get time to the end of the year, making sure that that profit margins stay solid, that they're not overpaying in taxes, it's more money in their pocket for them and their families as small business owners. And so that automation of expense tracking through AI has been a real game changer for many of our business owners, and they're constantly telling us what a help that has been for them.
And those are some great pain points. Is there any way you can elaborate a little bit more how you're doing it differently to your competitors? I don't know if that's a easy or hard one, but you can even give another example if something else comes to mind where you're doing it differently or smarter or better or quicker or however you think about being different to your competitors.
Yeah, so unlike most of our competitors, FreshBooks was designed for the small business owner. A lot of our competitors design their systems for their accounting teams. And as I mentioned, most of our customers, they're the CEO, they're the CFO, they're the accounting team. And so the way we think about our solutions is different. We need to be very friendly and non-technical in our taxonomy that we provide. So, most of the platforms out there are designed around compliance and reporting, and they support accountants and tax and P&L. And our solutions are really designed in plain language, intuitive designs to help business owners understand those aspects of accounting and finance that they really weren't trained to do and maybe don't really have the the desire to even know. And so AI really helps that in reading reports for them, looking at changes and giving them a narrative. These are the things that are happening in your business. These are the things that you should be focused on. And so if you think about it, in large companies, we have large uh, back offices with analysts to help us understand trends and changes in our business. Small business owners don't have that luxury. And that's where we're different. We're different than our competitors because we're really designed for the small business owner and the micro business owner that's acting as their own CFO.
And if your AI is good enough to replace perhaps an analyst or a bigger team, couldn't you then also argue that maybe even bigger companies wouldn't need those big teams because, the technology is good enough to be helpful for the small business owners? Or how do you think about that? I know your focus is on small businesses, but can one also then project this to shrinkage of teams in larger companies because of these types of tools?
It's a great question, and one that's constantly being asked. I think the biggest misconception is that AI is going to replace people altogether, and I really think that it's different than that. I think it in reality it empowers people, and so where we're constantly spending our time on repetitive tasks and analyzing data, AI does that for us at lightning speed. And it allows us the opportunity to use those insights to make better decisions, to communicate. And so it's a transfer of time, not really a replacement of time. And so, I think that for large businesses and small businesses, time is our most precious resource. It's something we don't get back. And so AI being a co-pilot, a partner with you in your daily routine to uh, minimize the amount of repetitive tasks, the administrative tasks, really frees up the opportunity for growth. And so um, I don't see it as a job replacer, but a job enhancer.
Do you think, I mean, this is perhaps a philosophical question. Do you think it's easier to learn and internalize and truly understand your business when you have to go through line by line and you have to kind of get that kind of understanding as opposed to just getting a high level executive summary, not knowing the thousands or hundreds of lines, of reviews that went into that summary? I'm thinking also about how kids learn, versus um, being efficient versus retaining that knowledge. Any thoughts on that?
I think I'm a big proponent of understanding the why. And so, we hire consultants to help us understand our business. We hire professionals to help us understand our financial strengths, weaknesses, and risks. And so, this allows those same people to analyze it in a more efficient time frame and allows folks to maybe rely less on those consultants and spend their money on marketing and servicing their customers instead of analyzing their own data at the end of the day. And so, again, it's not a job replacement, but it is an opportunity for people to understand the why in their data. And I'm not recommending they don't dive deep to understand it, but this allows them to have a consultant and a navigator that's just built into their everyday life, into their everyday system, which is fabulous.
And zooming out a little bit as my last question here, thinking about you and your role as the leader of the business, what are your takeaways from navigating this period that we are in right now? Making sure your product is relevant and attracting customers and competition, given everything that's happening. Any reflections or nuggets you want to share there?
Yeah, as you can tell by the color of my beard here, I've been through a few different technological waves over the years, leading all the way back into the 1990s. But we're leading through a period where I would say the world feels like it's changing on every front, economically, technologically, politically, and even culturally. And as I look at the segment of the market that we serve for small businesses, that uncertainty for them is more real than anybody. They don't have a large team that's analyzing geopolitical risk and currency risk and all of these things. They're very in a micro economy. And so they're having to adapt to customer expectations, rising costs, the pressure to keep up with, all of the technology, often with very limited resources. They might be just a resource of one. And so what I've learned is that people don't fear technology, they fear uncertainty. And as leaders, our job is to replace that uncertainty with clarity and confidence. And so at FreshBooks, for me, that means making AI and automation feel accessible and really almost invisible. They shouldn't even know it is there. That will ensure that it's not intimidating and that the owners use this. This is AI. And so the more it is used, the more powerful it becomes. And we want to remove all of the different barriers in fear of utilization of this technology to really make their lives easier and more enriched.
Shaheen, thank you very much. Fantastic insights. Appreciate that.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, and we look forward to advancing AI in fintech and throughout all of our different aspects of our life.